laws that all have been upheld by the Supreme Court earlier this year. President Trump has signed countless executive orders to fight for biological reality, to fight for the protection of our kids. My own lawsuit filed by Center for American Liberty is finally moving forward. And of course, the Department of Health and Human Services has been a decisive part in our wins this first year of Trump's second term. With the release of the peer-reviewed gender dysphoria report, it has become official US policy that these treatments in children are questionable at best, life-shattering at worst, and this industry needs to be challenged and taken down for the sake of future generations. Because there is no such thing as being transgender, nor children born in the wrong bodies. Every boy and every girl deserves to be loved the way that they were beautifully created in their mother's womb. And to the young people out there who are struggling with this mental illness, I want you to know that there is a better way out. And it's not too late to accept the beautiful way that God has created you. My story turned out to be a success story, but it was only in spite of my doctors and the horrible things that they did to me, to my family. I am only one voice out of thousands of children, but our cries for help have finally been heard. And the Trump administration and the HHS and Secretary Kennedy have done an incredible job this year, ensuring that this abuse is going to cease one day. I am incredibly excited to see the many more wins that we are going to have moving forward in the next few years. On behalf of every single child who once was mistaken that they were transgender, thank you for everything.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the comments today. We're now going to take questions from the press. Please keep your question to the reason we're here today. Also, if you can clearly state your name and your outlet, and if all the speakers want to stand up and be ready to answer questions, and then who you'd like to ask your question to. Sarah?
Hi, Sarah Overmall from CNN. I first wanted to ask just if you have a sense in Medicare and Medicaid how much gender identity care was being funded or paid for, but also all of you mentioned in some capacity mental health care resources. So does this go with more support for mental health care and well-being in children?
Our estimate, we know in 2023 there's $30 million spent. Our estimate is over 10 years, it would have been $250 million at least. We have mental health care services available. Our challenge, as you know, is enough practitioners in mental health care who can deal with these issues. Jay Bhattacharya's important work at the NIH is going to help us address what we should have always been searching for, which is the underlying emotional issues driving a lot of these behavioral changes and better ways of treating them. And I'm confident that with the money that we save, we have plenty of resources, but we had them anyway to deal with this problem the right way. Putting a Band-Aid on this problem using aggressive surgery and chemical approaches was never wise.
Caitlin?
Hi, this is Caitlin Richardson with the Daily Caller News Foundation. My question is, do you think that we need medical billing codes for detransitioners or those who face adverse reactions from sex change procedures?
Looking at the building code situation, there's probably codes we could use already, but we will fix the codes if we can fix the kids. We're not going to let math, regulations, and money get in the way of helping these children. For the same reason, we don't want to allow any of those resources to be used in a perverted way to harm children. These kids, and we've all spoken to this, their prefrontal cortexes are not yet mature scientifically. So condemning them to decisions that they make whimsically at those ages, no parent would allow to have happened. And I believe these procedures will fall in the deepest abyss of dark periods of American history like prefrontal lobotomies represent today. They should be a prehistoric relic that brings shame upon the profession.
I think that it's incredibly important that within the medical system, we get measures passed and we have billing codes written for those who detransition or regret their transition or have been harmed by any of these procedures, even if they choose not to detransition. Because to speak to my own experience as somebody who has gone through the system, the suffering doesn't end the moment that you detransition. These procedures are not reversible in any way. We don't know how they are going to affect the human body in the long term. But I myself and every other detransitioner I know has so many different medical concerns that are not being addressed because our own doctors don't have any standards of care to refer to. They don't know what to do with us. It's been 5 years since I've had my mastectomy, over 4 years since I've detransitioned, and not a single doctor who I have been to has been able to help me with any of my concerns. Oftentimes when I go to a doctor and I tell them about my medical history, they just try to refer me back to the same gender clinic system where I got hurt in the first place. This needs to change. Right now, there is no infrastructure that is prepared for the thousands of patients who regret this and have been harmed and will continue to be harmed until this is stopped. It doesn't just stop at protecting children and preventing what happened to me. We need to address what happens to those who have already been through this.
Michael?
Hi, Mike Emanuel from Fox. Mr. Secretary, I have no doubt taxpayers and many parents are relieved by what you are doing. But do you worry about blue states and transgender activists tying you up in court over the next few years over these steps you're taking today?
I don't worry. I mean, I think that's going to happen. I mean, the number of lawsuits with my name on it right now is almost beyond counting. So we have, we got everything that we do here. We have excellent general counsel. We know what we do, what we're doing is legal. And if people sue us, they're welcome to, but we're going to win the lawsuits. So.
Jonathan Brown.
Hi, Jonathan with the Christian Post. What effects do you believe that these standards will have throughout the world in places where they're also struggling with these issues?
So this department, under President Trump's previous term, launched the Geneva Consensus Declaration, which is a multilateral organization of many other member states that support each other on this issue as well as other social issues. I just had the honor of speaking at the annual meeting of the Geneva Consensus Declaration about 6 weeks ago, and there was a lot of support. As you heard, there's been a lot of reference to scientific studies in other countries here. I think the report we've all talked about today that was published here will be read around the world and translated. So there is a lot of cooperation between many nations.
That's right there.
Hi, Chelsea Sirzo at Stat News. What is the implementation timeline for many of these actions?
The notice of proposed rulemaking generally is a 60 to 90-day period of comment, and following which we will evaluate all the answers, and thoughts, and recommendations we hear and issue our final ruling.
For the OCR rule, changing the definition of disability to exclude gender dysphoria has a 30-day comment period, and then we will finalize it.
Great, and our last question right there.
Thank you. Arthur Jones II, ABC News. Secretary Kennedy, you made a statement that said these procedures rob children of their futures. How much input did you get from parents and schools and those that are closest to the child?
We've had, throughout President Trump's campaign, we were approached by thousands and thousands of people, parents and kids, like people like Chloe, and so we heard a lot from the public. I think the most profound impact on the decisions we have today were taken after we reviewed the science, and we have a 300-page report. I urge you to read it. I don't think anybody can read that science without saying we made a huge mistake here. And this is a disgrace to the medical profession. It's a disgrace to the medical establishment that they let this go on for so long based upon so little positive data and overwhelming data against these procedures.
Thank you so much for being here.